Hello, it's Maria White from Resilient Journeys. I'm so glad that you're able to join me today with working with our yoga. Today's class is a yin yoga class, and yin yoga is designed to work on our connective tissue and energize our bodies. So, in order to do that, we'll be holding our poses for about 2 minutes today. Uh, in yin yoga, you can hold your pose up to 20. We're going to do it for about 2 minutes, and always know that it's wonderful to be able to notice what's good for your body or how you're feeling that day. So if you want to come out of the poses earlier than the 2 minutes, it's not a problem at all. You'll need some props today to help with those poses. Some blocks or books if you're home, you can substitute that. Some pillows or bolster, and for final relaxation, it'll be helpful to have a blanket. You can do these poses, I believe, in your bed if you don't want to get down on the floor on a mat. But as I said earlier, the benefit of yin yoga is to help the flow of energy through our body. The theme of today is about slowing our thoughts down through our awareness. Sometimes our thoughts can just kind of grow and grow and grow to like a snowball, and at that point, maybe if we're not so aware of mindfulness, we might not even realize that's happening until it does. And then we're in a situation where we're like overwhelmed and we're tense and we don't know what's happened. And so that's why it can be very helpful to work on our mindfulness. And yoga is a wonderful way to be able to increase our mindfulness because it helps with that mind to body connection. I'm going to pull from some DBT skills work. DBT is dialectical behavior therapy. It was created by Marsha Linehan. And DBT skills basically help us be more mindful and to be able to kind of keep our thoughts in our life from getting big like a snowball, have more control. Doesn't mean we're going to be like, oh, I'm just all even, nothing's bothering me. It's more like, oh, that bothers me and I'm aware of it. And what can I do that might help me interrupt the growth of that snowball? So it's not about, not having any notice, but bringing in more of our own control. And then as we grow and we get better and better at it, we can pat ourselves on the back like, hey, I handled that situation better that time. Let's get started. And I'll walk back to my mat. And hope you've got some props ready because the first thing we're going to use is our blocks or some books underneath our sacrum, and we're going to be putting our legs up in the air. And if that's not comfortable for you, you can get up against the wall with your legs and hold them up. That wouldn't be a problem at all. Okay, let's get started. So our first pose, we're going to get our block, or if you don't have a block or books, you can use a blanket. I'm going to try to show different variations of what you can do all the way through. Nothing that I show means it's better or has to be that way. It's just maybe what you have or what may be better for your body. So since I've got my blanket in my hand, why don't I just show you with the blanket first? So let's first come down on our backs. And it might be helpful just to take a few breaths as we get started, especially if we've been thinking really hard. Just kind of slow things down a little bit. Okay. So with this pose is basically called a waterfall, which I think is a nice name for it. So you can have um, a blanket under your sacrum, and just basically. Notice it might be a little harder to balance on a blanket. I haven't tried it this way. Just all of a sudden it kind of dawned on me that this might be another option for folks. And so essentially you're going to be in this position with your legs up. I'm going to switch over to the block. That's what I'm most used to, but I just wanted to show some variation. And for the block, I'm going to use about that height. When I first learned this, I thought, how in the world is that going to be comfortable? It really surprised me to be in this position. So I'll let you kind of figure out where you might want to be, and just some hints about the position of the block. It is, I guess, at the very base of your spine, but it's not the tailbone, your sacrum. Okay, so you're in your position, and just want to remind folks too that when you're in this position, this is an inversion type of yoga position, and it can really help with circulation. If you have any trouble with swelling ankles, if you sit a lot, or maybe just have some health issues, doing an inversion once a day can really, really help. A lot of times I'll do an inversion for about 10 minutes a day. I've noticed it helps with sleep, and it can also help if you have some anger challenges. So things aren't so much here, but they're a little bit out here. So I'm going to be quiet as we finish our next minute of holding our pose. And as you're in this position, just notice how your body feels if you need to make an adjustment. And we'll hold it for this pose for about another minute. Okay, kind of rotate your ankles, open up your toes. You might even want to rotate your wrists and fingers. If you like it, you can see what your legs want to do. You might even want to bring your arms up above and just kind of stretch your elbows in. So notice what you're feeling. I'm feeling the blood in my legs kind of, I guess, circulating. It's kind of an interesting feeling. We don't always feel that with all of our sitting, standing. So just notice what you're feeling. If it doesn't feel good to you, you can come out of this position at any point and just rest with your feet on the mat. So just noticing, observing, maybe putting some words to it. Just engaging. Okay, we're going to come out of our pose. So we'll bring your hands to the opposite side of your torso, and just maybe slowly bend your knees, bringing your feet to your mat. Use the block, lifting up and bringing up block out. And then just noticing what feels different now that you've brought your feet down. If you have thoughts during your yoga practice or as we're holding our poses and you find yourself, your thoughts are kind of drifting off into maybe some things that you're concerned about or just what you need to do, that's not a bad thing. It happens to all of us. But just guide your thoughts back. Maybe you might say, I'm practicing my yoga right now. I can think about doing that chore after my practice. It's not beneficial to think about it right now. Today, this is for me. This is my self-care. We'll move into our next pose, Apanasana, where we have our knees bent to, the shape of an L. Our hands are on the top of our knees. And we're going to inhale. And on the exhale, bringing your knees towards your chest. You're going to hold it for a little bit. And continue to breathe. On your next inhale, bring your legs back. On your next exhale, bring your knees in. And breathe. Your next inhale, you bring your knees back. You bring your hands to the side of your body. And we're going to drop our knees over to the side. And you can use your pillows or your blocks if that's not comfortable for the knees to come all the way to the mat. You can use your props. One of the main parts about this pose, and we're going to hold it for a couple of minutes, is that your shoulder blades are still connected to your mat. You're not up like this. You're still in this position. If you would like, you can turn your head to the opposite side. And we'll hold this for another minute. So we'll press with our hands to the floor and you'll tighten your stomach as you're lifting your knees back up. And before we do the pose on the other side, maybe it might be nice to kind of stretch out a little bit and just notice what you might be doing might be different compared to your right side, to your left, because we haven't done the twist on the other side yet. And we'll come back up to our Apanasana. We'll do that a few times, just like we did before. Inhale, exhale, hold and breathe. Next inhale, come back out. Do that one more time. And exhale, bring your knees in. Next inhale, bring it back. And we'll do our spinal twist on the opposite side. So you bring your arms out into a T, and each side might be different. So just go down gradually and carefully to a distance that's safe for you. And I'm noticing this side's a little bit different, so I did a little bit of a shift. This side to me feels like it needs a little bit of support, and I hope this is a good example that each side might be different. Hopefully it's a good example to listen to your body. We want to be safe when we practice yoga. We want to honor our bodies and listen to our body. In fact, listening to our bodies to just know what would be the most beneficial way to experience this pose is mindfulness. In fact, I'm doing a little bit more shifting to get myself into a little bit more comfort. And I'm going to look to the other side. And we'll hold this pose for one more minute. You can have your eyes open and cast down. You can close them. So as I'm finishing up here, I noticed that I became more comfortable in the pose, and so I removed my block. I think that's another example of what I was saying earlier, that these poses are helpful for the connective tissue. All right, we press to the floor with our hands, tighten the tummy to protect that lower back, bring our knees up again. We'll stretch out, and then we'll move into our next pose, which is a banana pose. So you'll reach your arms up, or if that's not comfortable for your shoulders, you can have your arms in a cactus position. You'll walk your heels over to the right. Basically, you're curving your body like a banana. And then we'll hold this pose. It might feel nice to cross the ankles over. And we'll hold and breathe. Those feel nice. So let's bring your arms down, we'll cross your ankles, walking our feet back to the center. Maybe rolling a little bit. And then we'll set up for our banana pose on the next side. So we'll walk our feet over to the other side. Maybe cross the ankles over, maybe not. Have our arms up to cactus, or maybe they might be here. You might grab the opposite wrist, and you're stretching this side of the body. So as we're holding our pose, what are you observing? What are you noticing? Focus on a certain section of your body, your side, your stomach. Make adjustments as you want. This all is hopefully helping with energy flow in your bodies. Okay, we'll come out of our banana pose. We did that on both sides. And finally, a pose that helps us kind of reset from, the holding, that stretch, is bringing your knees up. It'll feel nice to bring your head up. And let's rock back and forth. And then you breathe. Okay. We're going to come up to seated. So we'll kind of roll over to our side because we've been down here for a bit. So we want to give our bodies a chance to adjust to the new position. So we'll ease up to seated position. You'll stretch your feet out in front of you. Now we're going to introduce you to some breathing exercises. This is kind of bringing energy into our body too. It can help if you've gotten up for the day and you're just feeling like, whoa, I'm kind of dragging. So it's called a bellows breath. And you basically inhale and exhale in these really short little bursts of breath. And after you finish the 10 cycles of inhaling and exhaling, you'll take a big inhale and you'll hold your breath. And then you'll bring your chin down to your chest and you're kind of like holding the energy of the air in your breath. Or in yoga, we call it pranayama. And when you need to get your next breath, you can raise up and exhale and begin the cycle again. So let's try some bellows breathing. So we'll go 10 times, quick and little short bursts. And take a big inhale, hold it, bring your chin down. You may need to release. Bring your head up. If you feel any dizziness, that means just basically kind of slow that down and make it less intense. So why don't we observe how we feel after that one round of bellows breathing. See if we notice any extra energy. All right, let's try one more time. Lovely energy from our breath. Next, we're going to do some lateral bends, and it could be helpful having your bolster or block. So you'll breathe, inhale, and then you'll stretch over it, coming onto the base of your other forearm. And you'll stretch. Change the height. Stretching the fingers too. supporting yourself. Feel any twinges in your back, just adjust. Inhale, exhale, and then we'll work on the other side. Again, sides can be different. Listen to your body. Okay, press up on the ceiling, tighten the stomach, and then come down. You're going to do a forward fold to kind of compensate for those side stretches. I'm going to put my bolster on top. You can also increase the height of the block. And then we'll just inhale and exhale and come forward over the top of the bolster. Resting your head on the top. And you can turn to the side. Oh, doesn't this feel nice? Turn your head to the other side. And you can even fold your chin here. This might feel really comfortable. Just all in our thoughts. Trying to notice where we are. Keep that snowball from growing from our thoughts. Come out of your forward fold. We'll come back to our mat and and I would say keep your props handy because some of the next poses it could be very helpful. Okay. We're going to do what's called a puppy pose, or some call it a melting heart. And so you'll basically be on your knees and come to all fours. And you'll bring your hands out a little bit past the shoulders. And then you're going to bring your chest toward the mat, or it might be bringing it toward your bolster. And kind of sit seated back. And holding the pose while you're ready. You started with your bolster, you might be noticing that your connective tissue is releasing, and you might be able to do the pose a little differently. Your forearms are not touching the mat, by the way. You're propping up with your hands. You can also possibly adjust to going at an angle. We'll come up. Might feel helpful to do some rotations. So we're going to slide onto our stomach. And we're going to come to our forearms. And this is a Sphinx pose. So we'll hold that. And you can kind of adjust how your legs are. Move this out of the way. So I've got my feet about hip width apart. And we'll hold our Sphinx pose. You need to come down earlier, that's not a problem. You can just rest your chin on your hands. And what are you observing in your body? How could you put words to it? Participate in it. Enter into the experience. All right, we can come down now, resting our head on our hands. Okay. The next pose I'll guide you with is called a seal pose. So it's kind of similar to what we were doing, but I'm going to get my bolster again. I find that can be very helpful with learning a seal pose. Maybe position it long ways underneath your body. And bring your hands out to, I guess, like a Y. And then you can adjust how far you would like to come up. You might not come up that high at all. You might also utilize your block and hold your chin. This is not something you've done before. You might want to start like this. So I'll start like this, and then I'll kind of, as we're holding the pose, I'll show some variations, but you certainly can stay the whole time like this. Let's begin. Adjust the height of my seal pose, but you can stay right where you were to start with. If you have changed position, where does it feel different in your body? How does the pelvis feel? How do your shoulders feel? Make sure that if you can, keep your neck in line with your spine. It might not be very comfortable for that part of your spine to be looking up, but to keep it level. I'm going to show the pose without the bolster. And I imagine this probably would be pretty difficult to hold, or I guess you could work up to it. um, but I'm kind of feeling it's a little keeping the elbows soft. But yeah, this could certainly build up some strength. You might even tighten up your glutes. This would be a very nice strength building pose. Okay. Well, bring our arms in, and we're going to do a lotus pose next. And so you'll come down all the way, your hands to your side. And then with your lotus pose, you could bring up your arms and head. You could leave your feet down, or you could bring them up, whichever feels right for you today. And we're kind of balancing on the pubic bone here. Again, keeping your neck lined with your spine. We're not going to hold this one too long. All right. You're going to come to your all fours, and we're going to go into our child's pose. So your hands are under your shoulders. Inhale, look forward. Exhale, tuck the chin, down the back, and coming down your child's pose. You can have a blanket behind your knees. You can have your bolster in front of you. You can widen your legs so you're kind of like hugging the bolster. You can even prop up your bolster. These are all different variations. This is one of, I think, one of the most relaxing poses. So you might really enjoy this one. Have your head turned, you can turn it the other direction. Make any adjustments that you like. And then we'll remove your props. Or the child's pose in a more traditional way. What would it feel like to walk your hands over to the left here and stretch that side of the body? Or maybe walk over to the other side. So we'll come back over to our back. You'll bring your knee in towards your armpit. Maybe stretch the other leg out. Hold this for a little bit. you feel like you want to do another twist, you can by bringing this leg over and keeping your other leg straight. If you don't feel like doing another twist, you can keep in the original position. It's down to the floor. If you've chosen a twist, you rotate the ankle. It can feel nice to straighten the leg. Might even feel interesting to cross it over. We'll work on the other leg. Bringing that into the armpit, towards the armpit. If you'd like to do a twist, bring it over. You're going to keep both of your shoulder blades onto your mat. We'll roll back to the center. Bring that leg up. Really, really great. You can always soften your knee. That's too much of a stretch. Rotating the ankle. And maybe coming to where it's propped up on the thigh. We're getting towards the end of our practice today. So we'll do a happy baby, which is bringing your both feet up, and you can have your hands on either side of your legs, or you can reach up to the outside of your feet, and you can kind of press the knees towards the floor. You can kind of open the legs some if you want. Rock. Oh, it's been a while since we've been babies, hasn't it? We'll just pretend like we're happy babies. We've been observing what we've been noticing in our bodies during our practice today. We've been trying to put some words to it, and then also choosing how we're having our experience. What adjustments did we need to make? Okay. So we've come toward the best part, which is our Shavasana. So you've got your blanket. Put that on. Another way to experience our final relaxation is you can place your block under your head, or maybe you're in your bed and you can do your pillow. You have your feet about hip width apart, your palms are facing upward. If it doesn't feel right to have something under your head, just take it out. And we'll rest here, just incorporating all that we've worked on today. And stay here for a couple of minutes. toes, fingers. If you want to continue your shavasana, go right ahead. You roll your head back and forth. And you're ready, you can bend your knees, roll over to your right side. And we'll come to seated. I'm going to grab my bolster to sit on. So I hope you benefited today with the focus on observing, describing, and participating and coming into your experience so that our thoughts can not get into those big snowballs, but that we can notice and go, oh, that's kind of bothersome to me today. What can I do to take care of myself? What can I do to kind of change directions or let people know what I need or don't need or accept what we don't have control over? So thank you for practicing with me today. I hope that you have had benefit. We'll bring our hands to heart. Inhale and exhale. We'll bow to one another with namaste. And take care of yourselves.